top stories this hour. At least 10 killed after private jet crash in Malaysia. Plus, Hurricane Hilary gets to Category 4 on pathway to Southern California. Welcome to the World News on VOP TV. I'm Joy Adesuwa Iramoseli. At least 10 people have been killed after a private jet crashed onto a highway on Thursday in the suburb of Malaysia's capital. Videos on social media showed the incident, which left all 8 people on board dead as well as 2 motorists on the ground. In the videos, the explosion of the jet can be seen producing a sudden fireball, followed by black smoke rising from the scene, as well as a wreckage on the ground. The plane had been headed from the resort island of Langkawi to the capital Kuala Lumpur before the crash. According to a statement issued from the Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia, a Beechcraft Model 390 carrying 6 passengers with 2 flight crew crashed in an expressive way near Elmina Township before it was due to land at the Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport in Kuala Lumpur on Thursday. Selangor Police Chief Hussein Omar Khan told reporters that the airplane lost control and crashed into a car and a motorcycle on the highway. The police chief also stated that all 8 people on the private jet perished and 2 drivers whose vehicles were hit also died. Transport Minister Anthony Locke disclosed in a news conference that the investigations were ongoing. An out-of-control wildfire on the Spanish Canary island of Tenerife has burned down thousands of acres and affected nearly 8,000 people who are either evacuated or confined on Thursday. Regional President Fernando Clavijo stated that some 250 firefighters and members of the Spanish army are tackling the blaze, located in the north of the island, a key tourist destination. Clavijo stated that the fire had a nearly 30 kilometers long perimeter. The blaze, which started on Tuesday night, is centered on a craggy, mountainous area, which is difficult for emergency brigades to access. Spanish authorities said their main goal is to contain the fire and prevent it from reaching more populated areas. The island's main town, Santa Cruz, is 20 kilometers away from the flames. The wildfire is threatening 6 municipalities. Some 7,600 residents in the area have either been evacuated or ordered to stay indoors on Thursday due to hazardous air quality. Clavijo stated that firefighters were working day and night, but the fire remained out of control. The 7-island archipelago is located off the northwest coast of Africa and southwest of mainland Spain. Tenerife is one of Spain's tourist hotspots. Tenerife's tourist office stressed in a statement that the main tourist area and cities of the island are away from the fire and businesses continue as usual in accommodation establishments, beaches and other tourist sites located in the area near the coast and in the Midlands. Hurricane Hilary has strengthened to a Category 4 hurricane on Thursday night. The hurricane is expected to hit Southern California with heavy rainfall as early as this weekend after it makes its way up to Mexico-Baja California Peninsula. Forecasters noted that the storm is expected to produce 3 to 6 inches in rainfall with maximum amount of 10 inches across portions of Baja California through Sunday night, with the possibility of flash flooding. Greg Postel, a hurricane and storm specialist at the Weather Channel, told reporters that there will likely be damaged wind gusts, especially at highly elevated elevations in the area and swells along the coast. According to National Hurricane Center, the storm, which isn't expected to still be a hurricane by the time it reaches California, is forecast to impact the southwestern U.S. with heavy rainfall starting on Friday through early next week, peaking on Sunday and Monday. Postel told reporters that it is rare indeed, nearly unprecedented in the modern record, to have a tropical system like this move through Southern California. The last time Southern California was hit by a tropical storm was in 1939, before storms were given names. Meanwhile, thousands of residents are rushing to evacuate the capital of Canada's Northwest Territories as more than 200 fires burn across the region, leaving many to face dangerous road conditions or stand in line for hours for desperate needed emergency flights. The capital city of Yellowknife, home to about 20,000 and several other Northwest Territories communities, have been ordered to evacuate as crew battle 236 active wildfires in the region. Residents in Yellowknife have been urged to evacuate by noon on Friday as a massive fire crept towards the city and a major highway. The infernos in the Northwest Territories are among more than 1,000 fires burning across Canada as the country endures its worst fire season on record. Smoke from the fires have drifted into the U.S., bringing harmful pollution and worsening air quality. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau met with a group of senior government officials and ministers on Thursday to discuss the ongoing fires and their potential to impact infrastructure, including roadways and telecommunications. The Canadian Armed Forces are assisting with firefighting and airlifting efforts in the Northwest Territories. The Royal Canadian Air Force has deployed several planes and helicopters to support regional emergency crews. More than 1,000 people were flown out of Yellowknife on emergency flights on Thursday, and close to an additional 2,000 seats are available today. This is according to a territory official in an online update. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has visited typhoon-hit farms and oversaw military helicopters spraying pesticides in a bid to salvage key crops on Friday. Tropical storm Cannon made landfall last week in the north, the country where natural disasters can be devastating due to weak infrastructure and widespread deforestation, which increases vulnerability to flooding. The visit came hours after North Korea was accused at the UN Security Council of spending heavily on its nuclear arms program while its people go hungry and lack basic necessities. On Thursday, South Korea's spy agency told lawmakers that around 240 North Koreans had starved to death between January and July this year. Kim visited rice paddy fields in Gangwon province that had been flooded by the typhoon, but predicted a complete recovery from the damage thanks to the patriotism of soldiers who helped salvage the crop. Images show Kim in white jacket and trousers squatting at the edge of the paddy field while military helicopters sprayed crops. The North Korean leader stated that the rapid response of the military to the typhoon damage had been performing a miracle of recovering flooded farmlands in a brief span of time. Kim urged the country's entire agricultural sector to minimize damage by disastrous climate and ensure North Korea could attain the goal of grain production for this year without fail. But some experts questioned how effective the measures would be. A Ukrainian drone has rammed into a building in central Moscow after Russian air defenses shot it down. Russian officials stated that the showdown disrupted air traffic at Moscow's civilian airport. The crash was described as a powerful explosion by a witness. Images show workers and emergency workers inspecting a damaged roof of non-residential buildings in Moscow's Expo Center complex. hit by the drone in early hours of Friday. The Expo Center is a large spread of exhibition pavilions and multi-purpose halls less than 5 kilometers away from the Kremlin. The Russian Defense Ministry, along with the Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin, informed that there were no casualties after air defenses destroyed the drone when then fell on the building. A senior official has told army chiefs who were meeting in Ghana on Thursday to discuss the details of a standby force that the West African bloc ECOWAS stands ready to intervene militarily in Niger should diplomatic efforts to reverse the coup there fail. Niger military officers deposed President Mohamed Bazoum on July 26 and have defied calls from the United Nations, ECOWAS, and other countries to reinstate him, prompting West African heads of state to order the standby force to be assembled. ECOWAS Commissioners for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Abdel Fattah Musa, stated that no one be in doubt if everything else fails, and the valiant forces of West Africa are ready to answer to the call of duty. He told assembled defense chiefs from members country, listing past ECOWAS deployment in Gambia, Liberia and elsewhere as examples of readiness that by all means available constitutional order will be restored in the country. Niger has strategic importance beyond West Africa because of its role as a hub for foreign troops involved in the fight against Islamic insurgents in Sahel region and its uranium and oil reserves. In Niger's capital, Niamey, where large crowds have taken part in protests against ECOWAS and in favor of the coup leader, residents rejected the idea of an outside intervention to reinstate the elected president and civilian government. Ethnic Armenian authorities in Nagorno-Karabakh have stated that internet access in the region was disrupted late on Thursday after Azerbaijan cut off a fiber optic cable in the Lashin corridor. Atak Baglerian, an advisor to Nagorno-Karabakh's de facto premier, stated on Friday that the incident happened at 5:55 p.m. on August 17 and that Karabakh specialists tried to approach the area together with Russian peacekeepers to restore the cable, but they were not allowed to proceed by Azerbaijan forces. He noted that negotiations between the peacekeepers and the Azerbaijan side to allow Karabakh specialists to access the site and repair the cable continue Friday morning. Azerbaijan authorities did not comment on the reported incident immediately. He disclosed that because of the disruption, Nagorno-Karabakh-based participants of the press conference could join the two other speakers only with a 45 minutes delay and had to use an unstable connection line. The official mentioned that only a very limited volume of internet was accessible to the Nagorno-Karabakh through an unstable radio connection as of Friday morning, adding that it was continuously under Azerbaijan's jamming too. Nagorno-Karabakh has lived in conditions of an effective blockade imposed by Azerbaijan since last December, when traffic along the Lachin corridor, the only road connecting Nagorno-Karabakh with Armenia, was blocked by a group of Azerbaijan protesters calling themselves environmental activists. In April, claiming that Armenians were using the Lachin corridor for transporting military cargoes, Azerbaijan set up a checkpoint at its entrance from Armenia despite protests from Stepanakert and Yerevan that called the roadblock illegal, citing a Moscow blockade 2020 ceasefire agreement under which the vital road should remain under the control of Russian peacekeepers deployed in the region. Finally, China's president will attend the summit of BRICS leaders in South Africa as he makes a state visit to the country next week. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Hua Chunying disclosed in an online statement that the invitation of President of the Republic of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, Xi Jinping, will attend the 15th BRICS summit to be held in Johannesburg, South Africa, and pay a state visit to South Africa from August 21 to 24. The visit will be Xi's second international trip of 2023 after he traveled to Russia in March. The Chinese president previously visited South Africa in 2018 as he sought to enhance his country's diplomatic and economic ties in Africa. The 5 BRICS countries of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa will meet in Johannesburg next week to discuss how to turn a loose club of nations accounting for a quarter of global economy into a geopolitical force that can challenge the developed world dominance. Russian President Vladimir Putin, who faces an international arrest warrant over alleged war crimes in Ukraine, will take part by video rather than attending in person. A total of 69 countries have been invited to the summit in South Africa, including all African states, and expansion is expected to be high on the agenda. Countries including Algeria, Saudi Arabia, Argentina, and Ethiopia have shown interest in joining the group, either formally or informally. And that's it on World News on VOP TV. We would like you to subscribe and engage us on YouTube. It is Voice of the People TV, and on other social media channels at VOP TV Live. I'm Joy Adesuwa Iramoseli. VOP Business coming up shortly. Thanks for watching.